March edition of the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce monthly meetings. I'm Nancy Goins. I'm with Thiel and Associates, and I am your current president of the Forest Park Chamber. Before we get to our speaker and introducing our speaker, I want to go through a couple of little things. If you're a communicator, you should have received this in the mail, and there's a couple of things I'd like to point out. Number one is that if you notice, the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce members are all listed on the communicator. This print's getting smaller, so we have more and more members that are joining. But membership dues were due. Say that 10 times fast. We're due in January, and I think Kathy has been sending out reminder notices for anybody who hasn't renewed. But if you would like to be a member and receive all of the benefits that we get, contact Kathy or look it up on our website, which is www.forestparkchamber.com. So one benefit that we have right now is the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce Leadership Grant, and we offer scholarships to students who are graduating from Windwoods High School. But last year we opened this up, and we also have leadership grants to a student or students who is a child of an employee of a Forest Park Chamber of Commerce business member. So if any of your employees have students who are graduating from high school this year who are looking for a scholarship, they need to be graduating from an accredited Ohio, Kentucky, or Indiana high school, and they will graduate in the spring of 2014. And this scholarship leadership grant is actually for a student who has persevered through difficulties and challenges in order to obtain their high school diploma, and who will further their education through a technical or vocational school, trade program, or directly enter the workforce. So it's kind of a niche of a scholarship, but for somebody who's entering a trade school or directly into the workplace, not a four-year accredited school. But if you know anybody who has a student that is graduating, we could help them with that. We'd love to receive their application for that. So the information is in the newsletter, it's on our website, or you can see me if you have any questions. Next thing we have, I'd like all of you to make sure we have announced the date of the most famous golf outing in town. It is the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce golf outing is Wednesday, July 16th. With a noon shotgun start at the Milk Course, and you can see all of our information on the website, and it'll be coming up. We've got sponsorship opportunities, and it's a great day. It really is. Ken and the whole crew who are on the golf committee put together a really fun outing, and it's so something to do. We'll probably have a few lessons in June, won't we, Paul?
Yes.
We have a monthly meeting here, and we go through, like, we have a pro come and he usually gives us some pointers before we get out there in July. So we can keep that in mind too. So now I'd like to introduce our speaker. Our speaker today is the director of the Hamilton County Business Center, and he will explain to you all what the Hamilton County Business Center is. Pat Longo, he is our speaker. He has aided in the creation, development, and growth of 190 entrepreneurial entities since 1997. The Hamilton County Business Center is a full-service business incubation program serving innovative entrepreneurs located in Southwest Ohio. Pat's area of expertise includes strategic planning, plan implementation, finance, marketing, business development, and access to capital. My favorite Patrick Longo story has nothing to do with this, nothing at all. My parents, well, we were just talking about it. Pat's dad and my dad were golf partners when they were younger. That's not why he's here. Actually, he knows Paul a little more, but Pat, I was so excited when he was on there because the Niemeyer family, which is my maiden name, and the Longos had a Super Bowl party every year, and Pat Longo you were probably in college when the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. And we had a Super Bowl party. Our families got together. I'm from a family of 8. Pat's from a family of 4. We would go out to the Longos house. It was a big spread. It was a great time. Well, Pat had his face painted for the Bengals game. he was totally painted as a Bengal. I can still see it. And when they lost, he couldn't speak for 20 minutes. Right at the end, he was just sitting there when they lost. It was the greatest. But anyways, so that's a good So besides all of the wonderful things he does at the Hamilton County Business Center, he is really a hometown guy. And you know, anybody who paints their face as a Bengalman, 20 some years later, I can say that he's not embarrassed about that at all. So I will let him come up and give us the whole spiel on
well,
small
thank you
businesses.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks
for coming.
Yes, we've been friends with the Niemeyer clan forever. There we go. Well, welcome. I am Pat Longo, and I appreciate the opportunity. Ray, thanks for having us out. Paul, thank you for the invitation. Want to talk today a little bit about who Hamilton County Business Center is and how it's a tool that's, you know, affecting a number of businesses here in Southwest Ohio and Greater Cincinnati. But I also want to talk a little bit about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And by show of hands, does anybody have a general feel right now that the Enquirer is covering more different types of businesses than ever before? Does anybody have that feel by show of hands? I just want to see. Okay, we got 1, 2. In my line of work, I work with entrepreneurs, and a lot of these entrepreneurs don't have dollars in their PR and marketing budgets. So we're trying to help create stories and help them promote their stories. And about 5, 6 years ago, I approached the business editor and said, why do we always wake up on Saturday morning and Sunday morning and I read stories about Orange County, California? Can you give us a chance to put our stories from local sources, don't always have to be my clients, into the paper? Well, that person was Carolyn Pione, who's no longer the editor, but they have since made a dramatic change and started to follow entrepreneurship in the greater Cincinnati area. So, a little bit about me. I actually just grew up down Winton Road. Went to St. Vivian's. I'm a Finneytown product. Went to St. X. Went to a school up in Cleveland called John Carroll University. It's a little bit like Xavier University, a little bit smaller, doesn't play Division I basketball, so not a lot of people are going to know about it. I've been doing this position for 17 years. And what is this position? I'm the Director of Entrepreneurial Assistance, and I run the Business Incubator, which I will get to in a little bit. Somewhat connected. If you're from Cincinnati and you go away and you come back, you realize that you have a great network. Even though I grew up and I went to St. X High School, there's a nice blue line of people, but it's also great that I've figured out that Elder is great, Green Hills and Forest Park, which is down Winton Woods, has a great network. Walnut Hills, Moeller, Ursuline Academy, Mercy and Seton. All kinds of great networks, so it's great to be connected. The final four, the restless spirit, it goes with working with entrepreneurs. You gotta question everything. And you're always thinking about how to answer or how to create an answer that's going to make money. I think I'm a decent listener. I've been doing this position. Most people, I'm the age of 47. I'm in my second career. I think they did a recent study that by the age of 47, most people have done between 5 and 6 different careers. I was a banker before, I got reformed, and now I'm on the entrepreneurial side and work with business. Hopefully no bankers in the audience. If you are, you can come over to our side. It's a great side. Okay? And we do like to try new things. We're always trying to invigorate entrepreneurs to challenge themselves to do new things. So why are we here? Well, this was a good classic photo of me about a month ago at our incubator, and we were ranked as the best incubator in the state of Ohio by the Third Frontier Commission. Does anybody know what the Third Frontier is? Okay, we got a couple of folks. That's pretty. The Third Frontier, if you're an Ohio citizen of voting age, you've actually voted on it twice in the last 10 years. It's an economic development program that promotes technology. And technology could be things coming from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It could be things coming from the University of Cincinnati. It could be things coming from the OAKS programs. And they want to use knowledge base products and services. They want to use technology. They want to use innovation. Well, for 20 plus years, our incubator was under the name of the Edison program. If you didn't know it, Thomas Edison was born and raised in northern Ohio. Moved to New Jersey to do all of his things, but Ohio still lays claim to it. Well, about a month or 6 weeks ago, Ohio did a review of its incubators, and we came out ranked number 1. So we had a very good, and that's based on number of companies that have graduated, based on the processes that we do, and the connectivity within the community. Paul is one of our board members, so he came out and said, why don't you tell the story? So that's what we're here to do today. So let me start real rudimentary. How many in here are risk takers? How many here are risk takers? I see, there's entrepreneurs in every industry. There's entrepreneurs in every business. If you're in a Fortune 500, you just change the E to an I and you become an intrapreneur. You create within your business. The thing that I work with, these businesses all have a heartbeat. They all have a person in charge or several people in charge that come in, and they are risk takers. But as you look at the definition up there, they are managing risk. And we think that that's important. But why they come to an incubator or come to an assistance program is they want to get different points of view. They want to get to be around a network of other entrepreneurs like themselves. If you went to college and you remember living in a dorm, you remember there was a lot of fun and connectivity that went with that. An incubator is a lot like a dorm. No, we don't have the frat parties and the beer kegs and things like that. But what we do is have that camaraderie, and you get to share that, that spirit with other people in the program. We work with entrepreneurs to help them manage that risk so they understand what they're trying to do. And also understanding when the word no is said to them over and over and over, how we can turn that around and how you can coach and how you can work with somebody. But entrepreneur, and I'm going to show you some statistics, there's some neat things going on with entrepreneurship right now. And there's these neat things going on in this community called an ecosystem. These are all of the players right now, and I may have forgot some, and that's why I put the word others in the left-hand corner. But these are all of the entities right now playing in the ecosystem. Playing fairly, playing nicely, cooperating, collaboratively. We're a part of that. You got something like a CCAP and a circuit that deals, the circuit's a network for the IT professionals in the community. You got the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers. If you're a small business owner and you need assistance, there is someone that you can reach out to and get free quality assistance from trained coaches. If you need a mentor, there's SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives. And why I bring this up, I represent all of these folks because all of these folks work with us as well. And when I came on board 17 years ago, and if I'd have said who's playing in the sandbox, I probably would have had to do a different slide for every group because everybody had their own silo. Nobody wanted to play together. No one wanted to work together. But what's happened is the camaraderie of this group, we're starting to see results. And better yet, stakeholders are now looking at us, and probably the prime stakeholder behind each and every one of these is the state of Ohio, is now looking at it and saying, it's not what Paul did, it's not what Pat did, it's not what Nancy did, it's what did the region do. Because does Paul win? Well, Paul wins when the region wins. I win when the region wins. All of you win when the region wins. It's a change in mindset. So you see all of these people, all of these groups here, all do different things. All are supported by different stakeholders and different groups. But what do they all have in common? They all want to assist an entrepreneur. A university is really an education. But you know what? UC Xavier in Miami have entrepreneurship programs. The Brandery is an accelerator. If you haven't heard about the Brandery, it's a wonderful tool. It's down and over the Rhine. 17 years ago, there wouldn't be a guy up here saying, look at all these great things. It'd be like, let me tell you about HCBC, and that's it. And I'll tell you, I'll take my time and tell you about who we are. But I'm proud of what all these tools do. And when you look at it and you say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, if you're saying there's not somebody out there to help you, yeah, there is. Get out there, network. All of these, and I think this will be on the TV, later. If you need, access to this, I can give you my card, and I'd be more than glad to send it out to you. But there are all these tools out there. And the Enquirer Now, and the Business Courier, and Soapbox, they're all covering these things. WCPO is out covering what's going on entrepreneurially in this community. That's a great change. And I think the reason why they're doing that is because they're seeing people work together instead of all of these groups competing to get face time. And all those groups, this is, I'm not asking you to understand this, but this is really the phases of development of entrepreneurship, and I wanted to show you where different groups fit in. This is, you look at this and say, here's where the idea is. Here's where you start to do a prototype. Here's where you start to get your first couple of customers. This is when you start to enter the market, and this is where you're starting to grow and scale. You can start to see that there are tools from the ecosystem that play in different roles. We happen to be in the orange one, business incubation. We kind of work from, yeah, I got my idea, I'm starting to put my plan together, to implementation, to go into market. And when you look at that progression, realistically, it should be up here, an idea, I'm real excited, things start to drop, things start to drop, things start to get a little bit better, hopefully. There's really kind of like a little valley in here. And in our world, they call it the valley of death. Because this is where most ideas for businesses don't succeed. And that's why we have tools in the community, like a business incubator, like a small business development center, that allow you to persevere. Now, for all of you that are numbers people, I'm sorry I gave you a big chart. But in the United States, and this goes back, I think this is 2008, there was 27.2 million businesses in the United States. And the reason I show you this chart to show you why entrepreneurship is so critical for this community, not just for Forest Park, but for this region. Look at 21.3 million businesses have one employee themselves. They are contractors. 75% of all businesses do not have an outside employee. We work with the 1s to 4s and try to get them to be the 10s to 19s. That's growing. That's what our stakeholders, the state of Ohio and our region, have said they want us to do. But you know what's neat? Is our 1 to 4s and 5 to 9s actually do a lot of contracting with people up in that one-person business area. So we're helping others by helping ourselves. But look at this. There's less than 2,000 businesses that have over 5,000 employees. So if you think about that, there's 50 states in the United States. If everybody got their pro rata share, there's only 40 businesses in Ohio, supposedly, that have 5,000 employees. Now, Ohio, we're really good at what we do. I believe, and Paul, I think I checked on this number, I think we have 75 businesses in the state of Ohio that have that many employees. But you know what? These don't move around. We do attraction, we try to bring things in, but this doesn't have, this is elephant hunting. And how many elephants have you seen outside of a zoo in Ohio? Not very many. So the state of Ohio has put emphasis on, let's grow some of our own. Let's use some of the research that we're doing at the University of Cincinnati or Wright State, University of Dayton. And let's start to get some things out into the marketplace. So I show you this chart to say why what we do is important. So who are they? And what do they look like? I think this is some interesting information. It's a diverse crowd. Today, for every 10 males that are entrepreneurs, there are 7 females that are entrepreneurs at the same time. And what do? They do a variety of things. A lot of them touch consumers. A lot of them do business services, accounting, finance, legal. This is the world that I spend a lot of time in, the transformers, technology, innovation, cell phone applications, environmental, sensors. Those are things that we deal in. But you see that people are still doing, and this is I just got this from Inc. magazine in the last couple of weeks. So this is all fresh information. But what's interesting about companies 5 employees or less, 34% believe they will introduce a product in the next year or 2 to the marketplace. 30% believe they're going to outsource to some sort of contractor to do work for them. But most importantly, and probably what is important to this region, is 37% believe they're going to grow to be 5 employees or greater in the next 5 years. Does anybody know the last time P&G actually grew jobs? Anybody want to fathom a guess? I'll give you a hint. It's pre-2000. 1993 was the last time P&G actually grew jobs. Okay? And Ohio's been relatively flat in its job growth. What's making up the difference? Entrepreneurship. And these companies between 1 employee and 100 employees. And what do they look like? What does entrepreneurship look like? Well, look back in 1996. 56% male, 44% female. It's now 62. Does anybody have any good thoughts as to why that has grown? 2008 unemployment. The recession. Mostly hit older white males. But on the flip side, what did that do? Look at the average age of an entrepreneur starting a business. In 2011, age 45 and over, 43% of all entrepreneurs were older than 45, compared to 38%. We actually have a term for that now. We call those encore entrepreneurs. They're willing to take a risk, but they are more risk averse. Do they have good Rolodexes? And I'm saying that, I'm not saying LinkedIn. Do they have good Rolodexes? Yes. And these are the people that we're looking to work with. But here's also something that's very interesting. As the demographics in the United States are changing, you're also seeing the demographics of what races are becoming entrepreneurs. Latino, Black, and Asian, you're looking at 24% in '96. You're now up at 37%. Well over 1 in 3. So why we bring this up? Well, you know what? Your region is looking to work with encore entrepreneurs. We're looking to work with non-white entrepreneurs because these are the growing segments. And you know what? If they're doing good things, remember that chart from before, they're looking to hire and they're looking to work with single businesses. So what is available? And I'll go through this real quick. There's one-on-one counseling. There's networking events, much like we're doing this. I mean, if I were to say to you that there are probably on average about 50 to 70 networking events a week in Greater Cincinnati, I'd probably be a little shy. I can probably get a free beer every night if I want to. Or some good snacks if I wanted to. Because there's that, advanced manufacturing, they have a meetup. IT has a meetup. Accountants, entrepreneurs, wannabes. There is a gathering somewhere in this community for just about everyone. Structured entrepreneurial training. That's like the Brandery, okay? That is like UpTech in Northern Kentucky. Those are 12 to 15 week courses that someone with an idea comes out ready to pitch their idea to investors or to a bank or to suppliers. And they go through things like strategic planning, marketing planning, access to capital. Right now, this is where our region has been spending a lot of time. May have heard more about angel investors, or hopefully you've heard more about angel investors, wealthy individuals that are putting money into companies. They're doing a lot more transactions now in Southwest Ohio. Venture capital. Ohio used to be known as a flyover state. Does everybody know what a flyover state is? You know, they go from LA to Chicago, Chicago to New York, and everybody in between's been flown over. Okay? We were a flyover state. That's not happening anymore. Ohio, in the last 15 years, has never broken the top 10 in VC. We were number 8 in 2013. That's significant. That's Cleveland doing good, Akron doing good, and Cincinnati's holding its own. Connectivity to local universities. Miami, outstanding entrepreneurship program. UC, outstanding entrepreneurship program. Xavier, great MBA program. All focused on entrepreneurship, all touching different types of people. Couldn't have said that 20 years ago. Now they got great programs, great connections, alumni coming back to tell real stories and make real connections. The media paying attention. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about incubation and who we are. So what are we? We are these 5 terms. We are a place. We're a location. We're on Menor Avenue in Norwood. We are right by Xavier University and right by the UDF corporate plant. It's a place. It's 150 square foot offices up to 3,000 square foot places. It's workshop. It's lab space. It's manufacturing space. It's little pieces that allow people to try things. But it's also this environment to be around others like yourself, because that's important. You want to share success, but you know what? It's also okay to share failure. Or as we say, not succeeding today. How we do it is the 3 things in the middle. Everybody that comes in gets a coach, a person like myself, who works with you on your strategic plan. And then helps you implement that plan and then check the results to see if we need to tweak. So it's like having a sounding board, someone sitting on your shoulder who's also watching what's going on for you. And all while that's happening, our program's helping you make connections, because guess what? When you are around 50 other entrepreneurs, the neat thing about entrepreneurs is they want to succeed, but they also want to help each other. So there's other people, other sets of eyes, other sets of ears out there helping you want to grow your business. So that's the connections. And then programming. How do we sell to a customer? How do we target? How do we know who to target? How do I go about accessing capital? How do I talk to an angel? How do I pitch? You know, what do I outsource? How do I outsource? How do I hire? Do I hire? Do I get one of those contractors? You know, our results are crazy. Last year, our 50 companies created 44 jobs. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add on top of that we probably added 60 part-time contract positions, we've affected 100 families. That's pretty amazing to us. That's a positive, okay? And I give you a picture because that's not our building, but that's a picture of what an incubator, a typical incubator looks like. It has a lot of small spaces and a lot of gathering spaces. Conference rooms that are available, a front desk, an assistant, an associate willing to help you. You know, we can get 18-wheel trucks in. You know, we can do wet lab opportunities. You know, we have vented hoods that are available to our clients. You know, if you do these things, there are places out there. They can be expensive. Our price is a little bit lower. We are subsidized because we want to do is work with entrepreneurs and want to help them grow. When I talked about the Valley of Death, here's where incubation kind of plays, right here. You know, I get started, I'm depleting some of my resources, but I'm starting to make progress, and I start to grow. This is typically what we see with our entrepreneurs. That's right here, that Valley of Death. but we're making progress. We've got a first customer. We're getting positive results. We start to attract somebody else's dollars, an angel, maybe a venture capitalist comes through, or maybe some Cincy Tech dollars. They're a seed fund investor. And maybe what we're hoping is not maybe, we want to see the progress so they start to grow. This is what I manage in Norwood. So who do we target? Early stage, less than 2 years old. As a company, not your newborn. Innovative, technology. But we have this really other quirky definition of innovative. We like working with traditional businesses that want to sell outside of the greater Cincinnati area. And why do we have two definitions for that? We're 92,000 square feet of space. We're 4 times the size of the average incubator in the United States, so we have the ability to take risks. The average incubator in the United States has 8 to 12 clients. Right now, we have 50 incubator tenants and 15 co-works, so we have 65 clients under one roof. Great networking, great learning experiences, but it gives us a chance to take risks. Because what do we want to do? All of those folks want to do is scale. They want to grow revenues, they want to grow their opportunity. Ultimately, they want to grow jobs, they want to grow wealth. And when they do well, we believe the community is going to do well. And we are a mixed-use facility that focuses on the physical sciences, engineering, and information technology. Also thrown in there is environmental. These are all things that our region is known for. We're just trying to help grow new ventures that hopefully will become, the next SDRC. If you don't know who that is, they were out in Milford. They were started in the late 60s. That company by itself has spawned off 100 spin-offs that are now in this region. Wouldn't that be impressive? And oh, by the way, those 100 companies employ over 5,000 individuals. So what do we offer? What makes the incubator different than, traditional real estate? Well, we're a full-service business incubator. We offer those 5 items. We really work hard on the environment of getting people to cooperate and collaborate. We are a headquarter for the angels in the community. They spend time not only in our space, but getting to know our clients. So you're making connection to people who could be potential investors in the time ahead. And our main group is the Queen City Angels, which is a group of about 60 angels in Southwest Ohio that are looking to actively engage entrepreneurs to find deals that they think will grow. We run a neat program called Morning Mentoring. And this is open to not only our incubator clients, but anyone in the community that is in the innovation space. We actually have the opportunity for someone to make a pitch to the angels, and they then go to the 4 corners of the room, and an angel and a service provider will go to each of the corners, and they have a conversation between 45 minutes and an hour about their business. We coach the entrepreneurs to be prepared, and it's a conversation about, hey, I've come to a fork in the road. I need some help with strategy. I want to raise some money. I don't know how to do that. Can you help? They start to make those connections. We've been doing this for about 7 years, and that program alone has raised almost $30 million for companies during those 7 years. We do a boot camp. And no, this isn't a military-style boot camp. It's a 2-day boot camp in which you get opportunities to learn strategic planning, marketing, how to hire, how to partner, how to deal with a service provider, how to access capital, and then also how to sell your opportunity. And that's a 2-day program, and we're a big-time sponsor of that. We actually have a small loan program within our incubator. Someone comes and says, hey, I want a $17,000 contract. Most people say, whoop-de-doo. We say, great. What do you need? Well, I need $7,000 for certain working capital in that situation. We've got a certain margin. We'll help fund what a bank won't do. And we've done numerous of those loans for our companies, trying to help them build a credit record. Because we're not a bank, but we can be a lender. Regional Entrepreneurs Forum. This is when entrepreneurs throughout the region get together to network. And we actually have a team of 12 entrepreneurs that tell us topics. What is really going on so that we can stay on top? And you know what we've been spending a lot of time on? Has anybody heard of this thing called crowdfunding or crowdsourcing? It's going to become law here. I think it already is law. They just haven't created the terms. How angels have to be accredited and they can put money into transactions. Now they're going to allow everyday citizens to do the same things up to a certain dollar amount. Maybe it's $10,000. Maybe it's $20,000. But they're going to allow, and this is going to open up a whole new realm of issues, but it's also going to open up a whole new realm of opportunities. And we've been spending a lot of time in our Regional Entrepreneurs Forum getting people prepared both as potential investors and those that might be seeking that investment. And these last 4 programs, these are all areas in which our sister company, the Hamilton County Development Company, we're the #1 SBA 504 lender. We're actually in the area of lending to real estate, owner-occupied real estate. We also do machinery and equipment with the State of Ohio 166. By contract, we are the Office of Economic Development for Hamilton County. And we have a Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Does anybody know what a Procurement Technical Assistance Center is? Anybody want to work with the government? Want to sell to the government? The federal government's the #1 buyer of goods in the United States. They're the #1 buyer of toilet paper ever. People do that. This center allows people to access that. And this center works primarily with small businesses wanting to access that. So as you can see, we have a pretty full offering of ideas. So who are we? And I know I've just got a few more minutes left, but what have we done? We've served 280 businesses. And oh, by the way, a business usually stays between 2 and 4 years with us. And we were started 25 years ago in 1989. Our graduate companies, and we just verified this last March, our graduate companies in the year 2012 did $210 million. Access to capital in our history, we've helped people collect $120 million of other people's money that has been invested into, and we've worked with entrepreneurs that have made some people very wealthy. Average salary and job, $48,000 a job for our graduates. Total number of jobs, total graduate companies, and our success rate's about 55%. And why is that important? The SBA comes out every year and tells us what the number is, the success rate for a business to see their 5th birthday. And last year it was 14%. So all that programming, all that environment allows us to be just a little bit better by the tune of about 3 to 4 times. So what did we do last year? We had 46 incubator clients, and they did $17.8 million in revenue. And why is that number significant? Because those same 46 companies came in, they didn't do $500,000 when they all came in. And they come in, and they've come in over the last 4 years. So if you think about it, take an average. Our companies usually come in with less than $10,000 in revenue. Most of them come in with 0. They accessed almost $10 million worth of other people's money. That can be angels, that can be federal grants, that could be bank loans. Average salary, a little bit better than what we've done overall. We're starting to see an uptick in the incubator. And what's really exciting about that is we have 9 zeros in that category as well, meaning I have 9 entrepreneurs that they're just by themselves, aren't paying themselves. I still have to count that. But when we count it all together, $52,000 a job. 41 new jobs, I told you about that, total jobs, and we graduated 6 companies to the community. That's what the state, that's what this community has asked us to do. This is our space, and this is what we did. And it's these kind of results that allowed us to be the highest ranked incubator in the state of Ohio. So who are some of our current clients and some of our graduates? And I'll mention Maverick Corporation, high temperature polymer company, now does polymers that are in the braking equipment for airlines, well, for GE engines. Started out with 2. They now have 85 employees. in 4 locations across the state of Ohio. Allostatic's a current client. I'm sure most of you know what a credit score is. Do you now know that they have a health score? That your body, that they can give you a number as to what the systems in your body do? Allostatics, with help from UCLA, Stanford, and the University of Cincinnati, is creating this so the insurance industry can say, Pat Longo, you've got a green number, a positive number of 142 out of a high of 180, and you want to be over 110. General Nano, another local product from the University of Cincinnati, carbon nanotubes. They grow the largest nanotubes in the world today. Why is that significant? The Air Force wants to use, you've heard these things called drones. They fly up at 40 to 60,000 feet taking pictures. Do you know on average they get struck by lightning 3 to 5 times on every venture out? And we lose more drones that way? This entity is actually allowing them to diffuse that electricity because it can absorb and send it out and not add much weight whatsoever to those drones. And that's happening in Cincinnati and Norwood at our incubator. One of the first knee brace companies in the United States. Technology from the School of Medicine at the University of Cincinnati. So you see, we got a strong tie to the university, but there are so many neat things going on. And these are great companies, all of them doing very, very well. So in summary, entrepreneurship's here. And Cincinnati's been an incredibly entrepreneurship community probably since the 1830s, when Procter & Gamble and Kroger came into light. But I think that right now we have more opportunities to set ourselves going forward with what's going on in our community. And I wanted to share with you that we got a very vibrant ecosystem. We've got a very successful incubator. Now we're just looking for more entrepreneurs to work with us. So if anybody's got any questions, I'd be more than glad to take them.
Is the crowdfunding law statewide or is it national?
It's actually national, okay? It's the Jobs Act, is if you wanted to look that up, is what it's called. They are just waiting right now they've gotten some feedback, and now they're trying to see how they craft the rules. And right now those rules are where we're all on kind of, pins and needles waiting to see how that all comes together. But very important, if you're an entrepreneur, I'd be paying close attention to what's going on, because I think it's going to be a little bit like the Wild West when it first comes out. So, any other questions? Well, oh yes, ma'am.
In terms of female, I noticed on your graph that the number of female entrepreneurs decreased. I think it was at 44% before, and then it went down to 38%. What was the difference?
It's actually that females they've been one of the fastest growing. They're starting to plateau. Okay, that's what's happening. It's more that there have been more older males that have come into becoming entrepreneurs. And that's what, that number had been shrinking, is starting to come back. And the main reason was the recession of 2008 and job loss. Do I find a job? Do I create my own opportunity? A lot more people are finding the opportunity to create their own. And that's what's happening. The neat thing is how you interpret it. It's not a negative. Because actually the 2 fastest growing segments, women and minorities, okay, for many, many years. Now you throw on this over the last probably 5 years, there's this new phenomenon of the encore entrepreneur, the 45, it's really 55 and over. Our average age entrepreneur coming in, probably low 40s. Okay, Brandery, the accelerator downtown, average entrepreneur, 25 to 27. Okay. So as you see, there's just different focuses that happen. So it's kind of encouraging to see that Cincinnati, of all places, has a really good entrepreneurial heartbeat. So, any other questions? Oh, yes, sir.
Funding-wise, I know that the growth of small business, the jobs that it creates, benefits Hamilton County, benefits Cincinnati, benefits people in in this community? Is it?
Benefits Forest Park.
Yes?
Mhm.
Is it actually sponsored by the state of Ohio, funded by Ohio as well, or is it all local funded?
Actually, we are funded by we're funded by the state of Ohio. Okay, Cincy Tech that's up on the board, state of Ohio. Centrifuge, corporate dollars. Okay, Brandery, a little bit of state of Ohio. Foundations, local dollars. Small Business Development Center, federal dollars, state dollars, local match. So as you can see, everybody's kind of got a little bit different. Because if we all went to the same, they'd be asking the same things. Everybody's got a little bit different ask and a little different feel. But I think that's, for us, is that we try to tap as many different sources, because if we were just to do this as a local community, I don't think the sandbox would look as full. But we do very, very well going out, in Columbus and in Washington seeking dollars. Those programs that were up on the board. So, yes.
So, just, how do people find you as far as like, say you're the guy that's got, an idea, a rudimentary business plan, small investment, you wanted to get started, see if this is an option or not. Do you like pre-qualify people or?
Actually, I have conversations with folks all the time that are starting businesses, and we cast a pretty broad net.
Yeah.
We talk to bankers, we talk to attorneys that are out there, because if you're going to get incorporated, you may be dealing with different folks. The university, where people turn, we deal a lot with the SBDC and SCORE, so that people can find, hey, I think this fits what HCBC is looking for. So there is an application,
Right.
So people apply.
Yes, I guess what maybe I can put a little better. How does someone end up with you instead of, say, starting off in a garage?
Well, and I understand, a lot of folks start off in a garage, and they start to get out and network. And that's when we start to, I've got a big zero for a marketing budget. I do really good with search engine optimization. So if you typed in incubation, we come in the first 3 to 5, things to click. And it's kind of nice to say Hamilton County's in our name. By the way, we're a geography, we're not a political situation. So we just happen to be, that's where we're located. But by doing the amount of these kind of talks, it's actually folks like you that refer people to us. And then the one term that I didn't explain that was on there was called clearinghouse. Knowing what everybody else does, making sure someone gets to the right source today is what that group in the sandbox is doing a much better job of. Brandery says, we want to deal with IT that's mobile. Okay? If it's outside that, they get an environmental application, they're sending it my way. Particularly if it's from, within 50 miles of Cincinnati. That's the kind of communication that is going on today that didn't exist 17 years ago, that I think gives us a chance to really amplify what we're doing. So, hopefully that answers your question. Yes, sir.
I had another question. How does someone fail? Why does someone fail? Out of the program?
I think, to be honest, what I've seen a lot is unrealistic expectations. They don't understand the marketplace. The problem they're looking to solve, their solution doesn't fit what the customer needs. It's what they believe. So when they're doing their testing, an alpha or a beta customer, they're not listening to what the feedback they're getting. If someone's saying no, they're not digging deep enough and getting that response. I used to think it was money, but I've seen so many examples of bootstrapping that goes on that I don't think that's, what the problem is. I think it's what happens, and you see this a lot. A company gets a contract, they spend all their time on their contract, they get it done, what's next? They need to continue to sell. And we forget that opportunity that we need to keep the register moving. And I've seen that more times than not. I win something, I want to do so well in that first, second, or third contract. I understand that. What about 4, 5, and 10? And you lose grip on it. And then, as they do, they don't get the feedback, or they don't sense the feedback to make themselves better as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur, as a winning business. And when you have that, and if you're not listening to your business, it's like not listening to your car. It's going to fail you. You got to maintain your car, you got to maintain your business, so you got to do that. But that's what I've been seeing. There's probably 6 or 7 other things that happen. I mean, it leads me to a quick, what does Cincinnati need right now? We got great ideas. We do have access to money. We need talent. Okay, we need talent. We need leadership talent right now. The C-level, the chief marketing, the chief executive, the chief operating. That's what these groups of people are looking for. And that's another. Hey, I can't give up control. Well, sometimes you do if you want to build it to be 2 million, or do you want to build it to be 30 million? You got to make decisions at the forks in the road. And that's why we created Morning Mentoring, to let people hear from others that have been there and done that. To say, I've been at that fork in the road. I know it's tough, but how do we help you make that decision, or at least help you think about that decision? Because the neat thing is, I'm a coach. And as you know what a coach is on the sideline. I don't make a basket. I don't throw the ball. I don't hit the ball. But boy, I cheer for it. And I want you to be ready to make the play when it's available to you. So I think there was another. Yeah.
A couple of comments. That was a pretty interesting stat when you said 21 of 27 million companies are single person businesses. That was shocking. It's just too bad the federal government doesn't incentivize that. It seems like they hold you back from trying to succeed with all the tax laws. But anyway,
Very complicated hierarchy. Yes.
Yeah, I owned my business for a couple of years, and I just had no idea that it was 21 of 27 million. The other comment was Procter & Gamble. You had talked about their business not having more employees, that it kept going down. The reason for that is years and years ago, we won a major contract for printing, and I asked them, why they looked to outsource that printing, because they closed down 2 print shops. And they said that they couldn't keep up with the technology, and that they were more and more just starting to stick to their core competencies, making soap, making shampoo, and outsourcing the rest and letting people compete for it, and just let them take care of what they do best. And that's the reason why. It's not because their business is going down.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Core competencies, which is a good business model when you're that large. They don't have to carry all the benefits and all that. So.
Oh yeah, when you're driven by earnings per share, you're either going to grow revenue or you're going to cut costs. P&G's been growing the revenue, but they've been doing a better job of cutting their costs. It's not a negative. I'm just saying where the job growth is occurring, it's not at the big company level. It's really the fastest growing segment in the United States today is between companies that employ 10 to 100. They have a term for that too. They call it stage 2 companies. And they have foundations studying that, and they think that is the area. And I've said this before. I think the state of Ohio is positioning us to grow that area between 10 and 100.
But don't you think that'll be more like 10 to 50 because of the healthcare laws now? I mean,
there's a lot of things out there.
Another, but
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges out there.
Ramifications.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, 27 million businesses. If they're all one employee, that's less than 1 in 10.
Because there's 330 million people in the United States, or a little bit more than that. So, but what's exciting to me is that is almost 1 in 10 people out there taking a risk. Because you saw there's only 2,000 that employed 5,000 or more. But the neat thing is all those 2,000 started out small. Very few of those, probably 10% of those are mergers and acquisitions of things coming together. Most of those start out as small businesses. So, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think that's pretty much all we have. We have a meeting set for next month. We're pretty sure it's set. There may be a scheduling difficulty, but it's April the 8th. We are here. And we are scheduled to have a speaker give us a forecast on after the first quarter. Usually you do a forecast, economic forecasting is usually done in January, but we decided to do it after the first quarter. So we have a speaker who is a local economist who's going to come and give us a nice spiel after the first quarter. So with all that, everything else, I think we're good to go. Aren't we, Paul? You don't have anything you got to tell us? Okay. Golf outing July 18th.